It's the Movie Toasty Show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah! Movie Toast.
Hey, what is up, Adam? How are you doing, Toasties?
Woo! All right, we're back, baby. 196. Feels like
Long
it's been so
overdue.
long.
Because it has.
I'm excited.
It actually has. Too long, man.
Man. So
Finally.
many good movies that come out, along with some bad movies, and we're going to talk about all of them today,
Yep.
man.
Absolutely.
Oh, boy.
Been excited for it too. Well, so have you been doing in this slightly elongated break off here?
It's been a roller coaster, but
Yeah.
been surviving.
There you
How
go.
about you?
There you go. I guess kind of as similar description, maybe different ride, but there's been keeping busy with things I didn't see coming, but glad to be
There you
back
go.
doing the toast. So
Oh, yeah.
not as many movies as I'd like to have got in, but
You son of a bitch.
I'm glad to at least got something new. So
Yeah. We could have rushed the show last week and you would have had maybe one movie to review.
yeah,
But that's not right. We'll let you do two. That feels a little more genuine. And then I padded a little bit with my bullshit.
There we go.
Which,
We got a mess of toast. We got a mess of toast there. Don't worry.
I'm
folks.
intrigued though to see your review of the movie we watched together.
Oh, yes. That'll be an interesting discussion. I'm looking forward to that too. That'll for sure. It's one of the things I said as soon as the movie ended. I was like, oh, I had a feeling. Adam would watch this too.
Oh, yeah.
So
it was in there, and I'm like, I know this is. I feel like I know where it's going, but I'm gonna watch it. Gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But why talk about that now? Because it's coming soon. If you're new to the show, please, if you're watching us on the YouTubes or wherever you get video, I don't know, could be somewhere else that we don't know about.
Could be.
Please know that there's also an audio version of the show available wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all the social medias at movie_toast. And we'll remind you at the end of the show. But I don't know, Dennis. You want to do a little thing called news?
I think it's about that time.
Gather round, folks, it's time for the scoop. Tune your ears in, let's join the loop.
Tune those ears in.
All right. The loop is about to happen, folks.
That's right.
Okay. So now that the Joker 2 is coming out, aka Joker 2 or Joker Fall AD, I don't fucking know what it's called, but it doesn't matter. Now that that's on the precipice of coming out soon, Todd Phillips has been going around doing interviews, and unfortunately, it sounds like his Chris Hemsworth starring Hulk Hogan biopic is not going to be happening. And I know a lot of people are disappointed by that. Did you have any interest in this?
Not as of late. The Hulkster is kind of grown a little obnoxious. There's especially when there's so many other wrestlers.
Recently.
Oh yeah, right.
Even the last 30 years. That's his MO. Although I guess yes, more so with this political nonsense.
Exactly. It's only got worse. Like it's just as each year passes. I don't know. There's plenty of other wrestlers too that I would like to see this style of film be done for.
Oh yeah.
I know when we were doing research on the short film, we were talking about there's so many cool characters and there's so many rich and deep backstories of so many of these other performers and wrestlers from the same league. You know, give it time, maybe something else will unfold.
Which I think instead of just focusing on one, they should do kind of what they're doing with Saturday Night Live with the Saturday Night or whatever it is, the biopic about Saturday Night Live. Maybe do like a biopic of the WWE like that and show the craziness. I don't know.
WWF.
But yes, wow. In my head, I'm like, I corrected myself before, and I'm like, no,
it's I have to remind myself too. It's like, wait a minute, because they went to the court with the World Wildlife Fund, so that's why they had to step. Yeah. Anyway,
but every time I see WWE, I'm like, yeah, it's WWF, and yet on the show, I'm like WWE. And it's like
because we know We've been around
Yeah.
long enough. At least we remember that's what it was called.
Although,
Oh, man.
if they do one of these movies, I'd love to see Chris Hemsworth do it because, I mean, he's a
Why
fun
not?
guy. He can do the action. He can do the comedy. Who knows which direction it would have leaned into. Todd
Right?
Phillips doesn't really
I
do
could see
comedy
that.
much anymore, but yeah,
He
we'll
could
see.
almost do like I feel like he could do that or like Ultimate Warrior. He's got the
Mm,
hair, especially with the hair in that shot right there. Just put the face paint
yeah.
on him and give him all the tassels. He's right there.
Oh man, imagine being the production designer, or even better yet, the fucking wardrobe
Costume
people on
yes.
that. Oh
Oh my
man,
god, that would be cool.
just bringing that world to life would be something, I guess.
Oh,
And
dude.
cinematography would be pivotal, trying to get it to look sleek and old and
Oh
not
yeah.
sexy, but kind of homegrown. I don't know.
There's so many.
My mind.
I feel like there's definitely the audience for it too. That I would
Oh
definitely
yeah,
check out in theaters if he
100%.
did decide to go that direction. Which he can do that sort of biopic sort of story, almost documentary style narrative story. 100%. Yes, do it.
But we don't got to worry, Dennis, because Hulk Hogan's not
Oh,
going to leave us on the big screen just yet.
oh
It was
goddamn it.
announced that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are going to make a movie about the Gawker trial that Hulk Hogan was in.
Oh,
And Dennis, the best part of this story, I loved when I read Ben Affleck is in talks to play Hulk Hogan because that's something that is sensible in any direction of the
Jesus.
world. Like, how? I mean, he's really going to beef up. He's going to get some hair plugs, diet. I don't know. But I would love to see him do a transformation. I can see Matt Damon doing it because he's a pretty flexible character actor. But
I think he'll use that Jennifer Lopez divorce rage to fuel his Hulkster, his Hulkamania. That might be his backstory, or try to use that.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
It's just a shame we're not going to get the Geely 2 I've always dreamt of. Because I've never seen Geely, but I would watch a double feature of the Geelys.
Oh, right.
Let's
make a sequel for the worst movie, one of the worst movies ever made.
It's the Gawker trial. I don't know. I don't do research here. But was that the leaking of the sex tape? I don't know what the fuck it is, to be honest with you. I just love this picture of him in court.
I've been trying to ignore him for long enough. I don't even remember. I'm sure that sounds familiar though, but I just don't recall it off the top of my head.
Remember his reality show? What was it? Hogan Knows Best?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
In Hollywood, Florida.
Right. And it didn't that had a dark ending too. Like that was didn't his son die and then
oh boy,
divorced his wife and then I think she died too. His daughter hates him. I don't know. It's a mess. That's a
lot of shirt ripping in that household.
Yeah, exactly. That's what these folks are running away from in the background of our video. Oh God, no! Stop it!
Yeah. Well, speaking of returning character, everyone has actually wanted to see on the screen. Keanu Reeves has continued the rumor mill, building up Constantine 2.
Yeah.
On one of the late night shows, he said, essentially, no's have slowly become yeses, and now he's waiting on a script to come in. So it looks like it could be a reality, but I'm not gonna lie, was not a fan of the Constantine film. I felt like it was a little boring, but I liked what they were doing. It was dark and gritty, opposed to other comic book movies. What's your take on?
I loved the first Constantine movie. I saw it in theaters pretty quick once it was released, and snatched that DVD up as soon as it went on sale. I like that sort of edgy heaven versus hell world though that it lives in. For a sequel, though, I mean, why not? If anyone's going to get away with it, it's going to be this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Puts the right team together, which Keanu Reeves says he signed on to something. You're going to get some star power. So, why not at this point? We're getting all these other sequels to things. This could be a fun time. And
if anybody's going to do a movie 20, 30 years later, Keanu Reeves can honestly look like he looked 20, 30 years ago. God,
exactly.
It's crazy.
He looks like he could still be doing the job. He's still doing John Constantine's work.
It's kind of worn down on him a bit.
Right? He's seen grizzled. The devil enough. Like it started to just kind of age.
You ever watch the the NBC Hellblazer show. Like that guy had a good look to him, and he
No, and
reprised
that
the
was
character
more
in animation and on other shows. I felt like
okay.
he was kind of cool.
I was gonna say that one was more true to form, though, right? Like, wasn't he British?
Yeah. Yep. British, wore
Yeah,
the trench coat, smoking, whatnot.
yeah.
But
That I
I don't
believe
know.
is what how the character was written in the comics too, which is funny because like the guy that was cast in this movie, who played his like the info guy, I forget the character's name, but gave him all the crazy like gadgets and shit, and gave it like he would call him up for information and stuff. That guy
Mm,
looks exactly like his character in the comics, which is I thought was kind of nuts. It didn't take much changing
right.
him either. Um, Kind of
That's
like the whole
crazy.
the Ultimates Nick Fury looking exactly like Samuel Jackson because they actually drew it for
Mm-hmm.
him
Based him on him.
only to cast him in the fucking movies anyways. So it's came full circle.
Yeah. It's kind of
Wouldn't be
nice when that
surprised if that was
happens.
yeah, right. Yeah, it is nice to not have to change the visual you had in your head, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I know
Yeah.
there was another rumor of Disney talking to Keanu Reeves about being involved in a Star
Oh
Wars
yeah.
project.
Oh
I'm not sure if that was in the lineup of things you had going, but since
yeah.
Mr. Reeves is on screen, after the unfortunate canceling of Acolyte and kind of the shock to a lot of
Mm,
people, especially the cast themselves, which seemed like not all of them were fully aware that was the move.
right. They
Um,
don't know everyone hated their show, but us apparently.
the well, like within a few days, Disney then announced, "Oh yeah," and then we're talking to Keanu Reeves about this Star Wars project, which the fan
Hmm.
base is kind of like, "Okay, don't fucking tease us," because a lot of people would love to see him starring in a Knights of the Old Republic story, and which honestly, him cast as Revan would be amazing. I could see that, but up to this point, haven't exactly. It's been a mixed bag of things. So, and then whether or not it's a movie or a series yet, too. Um,
Speaking of Star Wars in television shows, have you watched the trailer for Skeleton Crew yet?
One of them, one of a couple of the earlier teasers and stuff. Yeah,
Uh,
I think the latest version I may not have seen yet, but
like I don't know, it looks like an ambulance show, and it looks like it's more Earth based, and just doesn't really fit for me. But I'm intrigued to see where it goes.
right, yeah, it's one of those kind of like Andor and stuff where I'm hoping because it's deciding to go its own path and just do its own thing.
Hmm.
Let's just go on this adventure. I want to go on the trip with them and let it be its own thing instead of mentally keep trying to jam it back into the corners of
Hmm.
the universe we've already seen a bunch of times. Like, let's just go on this wild ride that now
Yeah.
these kids have to figure out traversing space. And if it's, I'm really curious if it's going to hold up to the initial pitch of it being a Lost in Space with Star Wars kind of
Mm. That'd be
concept.
cool.
And it's like, yeah, all right, well, yeah, we should be seeing creatures. I want to see some wacky shenanigans and adventure like scenarios we
Yeah.
get ourselves in by accident, just trying to survive.
Hmm.
All those classic hijinks you'd
Some
expect of this.
July fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued. Not super stoked, but I mean, I wasn't for the Acolyte, and that won me over. And I really would have liked to see where season 2 went because a lot of the
Oh,
cast characters have died, and the
yes.
tipping the little Easter eggs at the end that they dropped in there at the last
Yep.
second. It's like, hey, I don't know.
And yet
You never
again,
know, I
funny enough,
guess.
Disney did a good job of giving us like actually a pretty badass villain.
Right?
Kamir, holy shit, this guy was awesome. He duels with no eyesight. You know, like they gave him a unique look and a unique style
Hmm.
that we hadn't seen yet.
Menacing, fun, intense, believable.
Right. I
Uh,
think he was starting to get up there with Balin Skull and Kylo Ren for me. Of they just for some reason they can make these very intriguing villains that I want to see more and more of. When it comes to the entirely original
mhm.
protagonists, they're not always like gripping right away, and
Sure.
sometimes we got to get to know them a little bit first. Then I'll get on board. But
Yeah.
in the case of all three of those characters, I'm like, yes, I'm here for it right out the gate.
Hmm.
Maybe if we're lucky, we'll do something else in the High Republic, and we might get another peek at him. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
Yeah,
So
time will tell, I guess. Anywho, back to the comic book world. So many things happening here. Have you seen that Ryan Reynolds is pushing for a Logan style Blade movie? And it's like, I don't know. Do we need it? Probably not, but I'd be down.
Oh yeah, right. Like it wouldn't stop me from seeing it. Is this something that I'm like, oh, we definitely have to do that? No, we really don't. It was cool enough seeing Wesley Snipes as Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine. That was a fun. And the inclusion of all those characters. I'm like, okay, that's a nice, satisfying touch to have this, like the nod, the thank you, the farewell to all of that corner of the universe.
It's like, once again, that was a New Line film. I don't know, but I guess they do have the rights to the character. It's just, I don't know. But where would you go? What would you do with them? It's like,
I honestly don't quite know enough about him. And like, I assume he doesn't age the same rate as humans. He's probably has
being a daywalker,
a vampire lifespan combined with the human benefits. But you know,
but it's like they lost a little memento with Trinity, even though I love Trinity, but everyone hates it. It's like, can you rebuild from that? And it's like, that would then be a slap in the face from Mahershala Ali. But it's like, that's what fans want. But it's like, how far do you want to go to please fans as opposed to creating new fans? I don't know.
It's very true. It's very true. I'm honestly kind of also in the boat of like, do we need to go back and keep revisiting characters we've already seen when there's still so many characters that would be cool to see on the big screen?
Right.
But you know, at the end of the day, it's going to be another comic movie. It's going to be another Disney Marvel film. Good chance it could still be intriguing, especially given the cast. I mean, you know, although it took Wesley Snipes a little bit of convincing, right, to do it, he played it. Like, I mean, I liked his part in the movie. Like, he did the job. He understood 100%. The assignment, as the kids say.
But I don't know. So time will tell. But another weird avenue going here, Dennis. Have you heard that David O. Russell is going to be directing Nicolas Cage in a John Madden biopic? What's with this? I love it. I don't know enough about John Madden, but really?
Well, for me, yeah, right. No, for me, it's like my initial reaction was 100%. This is Nicolas Cage going, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, that's, you know, it's just the challenge of being such an iconic sportscaster. His association with football, for those of you if you don't know, he had a long career in the NFL. As well as then commenting on NFL games for most of our entire childhoods. Actually, this was a voice that CBS, or was it Fox? It was Fox Sports. I mean, the guy's a legend. There's a video game series named after him because he's so strongly associated with the NFL. To me, it's like Superman. It's like he's getting to play Superman. He's getting to play that iconic voice and figure that you associate so strongly with the field that the character is from. It doesn't surprise me he wants to do it. Now, as an audience member, is that who I would think of as playing John Madden? Probably not, but hey, I'm intrigued. I would love to see. And David O. Russell,
yeah. And as far as I can think, I believe this script was on the blacklist last year or a couple years ago. I'm like, that makes sense. Madden biopic, but never in a million years David O. Russell and Nick Cage,
right?
Kind of art housey, and then a very intricate, unique actor. But hey, it could be good.
You know, I could see him doing the voice, like him taking the time to really just learn the cadence and all that stuff. I want to see him with it's funny, like the image you chose. I want to see him with the pen doing, and then he's gonna come around. The whole thing. I want one good scene of actual NFL footage, and it's just Nick Cage doing the whole bit. I
mean, I can see him bulking up to maybe dyeing the hair. I could see him transforming, but it's hard to just look past Nick Cage being Nick Cage, which is weird.
I don't know what immediately comes to mind is Vice playing the vice president.
Yes. Dick Cheney, but
Christian
Wow.
Bale.
Yes.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, lost
His
himself in that
transformation
role.
into that, it's like that's what I see Nick Cage doing for John Madden. It would just be like totally diving in, and I mean, yeah, the hair and everything.
True.
Like, and I guess that's the other thing is how long a span or do you think we're covering?
That's true. Which
Is it
point in
going
his
from
life?
his coaching career? Like, are we going to start it like as he's coaching and then go into sportscasting, or is it like
I hope it's all about
his
the video
last game? Yeah,
Just recording in the booth.
It's like Gran Turismo.
John Madden.
It's actually about the kids that played enough Madden football that became NFL coaches.
Nah. But the weirdest news this week or previous week is a reboot of the Anaconda film starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
Yes.
I guess you had some comedy in there. You had Owen Wilson. You had Jennifer Lopez. You had Ice Cube.
It's pretty light. Like it's very tongue in cheek, and it's not like it's not like it doesn't last very long. It might be a funny line or two, but it makes more sense as this now. But which is funnier, a movie where they're genuinely trying to make this like action horror film that ends up being ironically hilarious because it's so bad, or when you're starting to try to make funny out the gate, knowing the source material already. That's what scares me. It's like, oh, if to be funnier, you don't try to make it funny. To be funnier, you try to make the real thing,
which would be interesting. I mean, I could see. I mean, Paul Rudd can pull off drama. I mean, Jack Black has done some non-comedy, but I don't know how you put these two guys together and not do comedy. But it would be interesting.
And not laugh your ass off. Yeah, like I fully expect. I don't know. It could be interesting. But yeah, I heard that story as well of the rumor is it's going to lean much heavier comedic, like you said, and at least with these two, you expect to laugh, but that's also what scares me. That scares me more than the Anaconda itself. Now it's like, oh, you're really stacking the deck a certain way, and if it doesn't play out that way, it's going to bomb hard. But
like my mind keeps going like, oh, is it going to be like a Jumanji type of comedy, or is it going to be more of a satire? Or I don't know.
That's a good, or like I guess would it be like the Town Snakes in a Plane kind of aimed for? I guess way back then, where yes, it's going to be violent, yes, it's going to be kind of scary, but it's really self-aware. And I'm like, well, fuck, come on, like it's a giant snake that everyone a super not superhuman, a super reptilian snake. It accomplishes things no other anaconda should be able to do. Is the hope, anyways? But I mean, it sounds like something I'd like to check out. But
yeah,
we'll see as we get closer.
But it just kind of came out of nowhere, I think, in my opinion.
You know what we're missing? Remakes, Adam. We need more remakes in those theaters.
I mean, we don't have enough these days.
That are sequels.
If only someone had enough of a nerve to do such a thing. They don't. Hollywood's just all about original IP, and I'm down for it. There has been some great original IP lately, and very few remakes, reboots, requels. If only someone was brave enough, but
yeah,
time will tell when a pioneer will enter that world.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I mean, yeah, why not? Why not try that? The world may love it. But you know what the world might also love, Dennis? Some polls.
I think so too.
All right, Dennis. Up first, on our last episode, we reviewed season 6, part 1 of Cobra Kai. So I wanted to know what the Toasties thought, who they'd want their sensei to be out of Mr. Miyagi, John Kreese, Daniel LaRusso, and Johnny Lawrence. And the Toasties have spoken.
I mean, I think personally, I feel like Mr. Miyagi is still kind of the most. Who I'd really want teaching me is that guy. The other guys, they have their own legitimate styles and everything. But I mean, come on. Mr. Miyagi.
Speaking
all
of
the way.
Miyagi, on the last episode we were talking, we're like, oh, how great would it be if they did a Miyagi prequel series? Well, listen to the writers on the podcast. That's where they want to go next. Whoever could see that from that one episode.
They're listening in, man. They're already. You know what I just heard from the movie toasters? All right, Netflix. You heard what the movie toaster said.
We're one of their followers. Oh man, you know who I really wanted to put on here, but unfortunately you can only do 4, so I had to go with the core 4. I wanted to put Stingray on because he looked like quite the sensei.
He was doing his best. He definitely had something going. I don't know about going toe to toe with any of the other
right.
4. But yeah, no, that's
it's tough for me, man. Like they all have their specific thing.
Yeah,
you're gonna do some chores with Miyagi. You're gonna. You're gonna have he does care and take preservation.
And there's the passive
Priest, like you're gonna learn, you're gonna be menacing, you're gonna be badass, but he's gonna care in his own unique way. With LaRusso, he's gonna be sweet, but he's also gonna be a little strict. And with good old Johnny, he's gonna be a cool guy, but boy, are you gonna get in some unconventional situations.
Fireballs are gonna be thrown at your head and you're going to be juggling chainsaws or some crazy shit.
But he would be the most entertaining, I think. So I think I'd go Johnny Lawrence.
Okay.
Let's see what the Toasties have said. So we have 5% for John Kreese.
Beat down.
People want that hard teaching ways. I mean, why not learn from someone who's going to hold no punches?
That's right.
He's gonna
mercy
set you on a path. No mercy whatsoever. Man, I was listening to him on a podcast this week. What a sweet guy.
Oh, right? He just sounds awesome.
At one point, his son came in, and his son's like, yeah, I was staying at my dad's house recently, and I hear him freaking out, sobbing, and I run to his room, and he's sitting there in his boxers watching Titanic, crying about how these people died. Like, that's what I want to see. John Kreese just crying to Titanic. Sorry, it was on KTLA.
Oh, no, that's great. Yeah. He was promoting the show, but he had this just sick. It was this Western cowboy style black shirt with white piping, but then it had these embroidered skulls on it that looked cool. And they're just I'm just gonna take a second. That shirt is really awesome. He's like, oh, you like this? Oh, you know what? I found this at an airport in Kansas City. I looked at it and I was like, I gotta do it. I gotta have that shirt. So this guy buys his wardrobe that he wears on TV at the fucking airport in the middle of the country.
That's awesome.
I love it. He's like, you know what? That's me. I like it. It's my style.
You gotta. Why not?
That's
a man of the people. Hell yeah.
I'm all about it. I was here for that.
Right. All right. Who do you think's coming in third here, Dennis?
With my luck, it's going to be Mr. Miyagi. I bet you the top 2 are going to be LaRusso
our new boys,
Lawrence. Yeah. So I'm going to guess Miyagi.
Okay. Well, you would be wrong.
Oh,
Daniel LaRusso, 20%. I thought he was going to be number 1.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of going through a lot of turmoil. He's being overly judgy of Mr. Miyagi and shit, where we ended last, and I wasn't digging. It's like, Daniel, you've already got to this point under his guidance and following his path. Yeah. Why now would you start questioning that shit?
Right. Listen to your wife. Just give up the karate world, man. You got a good thing going. You got some kids. You got a hot wife. You got a thriving business.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not enough.
No.
Go meet Jackie Chan. Find out the secrets. All right. So number 2, Dennis. What are you thinking? You think we're going Johnny or Miyagi?
I'll say Johnny now. That's my guess. Johnny.
It has to be Miyagi coming up in first place, but he's 35%.
Damn. Okay.
Woo. Once again,
Kaido is yeah. Damn. Well, it's closer than I thought it was going to be, though. That's an interesting spread.
Yeah. So 40% for the man with the plan. The misunderstood sensei.
Eagle Fang it is, huh? All right, fair enough though. It, like you were saying, it's also a valid choice. The guy is so driven. It might be unconventional methods, but he gets you there.
He really does. And he does care in his own way.
Yeah.
And tries to understand.
Absolutely.
And he's gonna have some fun doing it.
Right.
And Up next, we reviewed the one and only season of The Acolyte on the last episode. So I wanted to know which Star Wars series was the favorite for the Toasties out of Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian, and Andor. Now, I've only dealt a little bit with these, but I'm wondering what this was one that I was wondering what you would really be thinking, because you watched them all. You've lived it.
Yeah. God damn, it's honestly it's very tough. Mandalorian, Andor are fucking fantastic shows. The truth of the matter is, I've probably gone back and rewatched more of the Clone Wars than I have of the other three options. I've only watched through like maybe 1.5 times. Clone Wars, I've probably watched almost the entire run twice. Now and you can still include or exclude Bad Batch from that. I'd consider that separate, although it comes from the same corner of everything, but
from the same cloth. But still.
Exactly. Fuck, that's a really tough choice. I'm somewhere between Mandalorian and Clone Wars, I think, but then it's like I don't mean that to disparage any of the other choices.
Sure.
They're all
not at all
entertaining to me. So
for me, it's got to be Mando.
There you go. See,
once I finally get around to finishing Andor, could be Andor because I like what they were doing there, but apparently not enough to watch the series in its entirety just yet. But the Toasties have spoken, Dennis, and they came out in the dozens. They really like this one, Dennis.
Nice.
So they have spoken. Coming in fourth place is Clone Wars. 14%. I would
have thought Rebels would have been at the bottom, to be honest.
Same. I don't hear people talk with such reverence about Rebels as much, but
yeah.
And up next, Andor, 29%.
Wow! Oh my god! Oh, what this is surprising,
right?
I'm glad I didn't bet money on this on the results here, because I would have been way the fuck off.
I thought that would have been one of the higher. Yeah.
I assumed that Andor would have at least been second. Mando first, but wild.
Coming in third place with a staggering I'm wrong. I just got my clips out of sync. 14% for Rebels. Tying with the Clone Wars. I tricked you and myself, Dennis.
Tricked you.
Did it on purpose. Dummies.
Gotcha.
Oh boy.
Well, fair enough though. And it's funny.
You weren't wrong.
Rebels was like only a fraction of the length of Clone Wars too. So they crammed a lot in. Yeah, anyways, without getting into the nitty-gritty, that makes sense though. That makes sense.
Yeah. I just should have done my due diligence and checked my slide, but it doesn't matter. As we could imagine, Mando coming in at 43%.
Yeah. There you go.
No surprise there.
That I kind of figured, and it makes sense. It has the entry point is really nice. It has a broader appeal. You don't need to have nearly as deep of or rich fandom of Star Wars already under your belt. Like just getting someone in to watch that cold, I feel like was easier to do than any of the other ones that were mentioned in the polls here for sure. So that's a sensible decision.
Where they're at in the series, I don't know. I feel like it lost some of its charm to me in the last season.
It's kind of relying on you. That's what kind of surprised me when they started going that direction. It's really kind of relying on a lot of information that hasn't been acknowledged since it was in Clone Wars, as was also in this poll. All of the Bo-Katan stuff, all of these things that in the building up of the Mandalorian tribes trying to reclaim the planet and all that stuff. All themes that were heavily discussed in Clone Wars that the backstory makes even more sense, or at least you filled in a few of the gaps. Not that they've excluded a whole lot of information, but there's just that much more to take in, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you. It did not have the same feeling as the first season, which I guess makes sense. But
it's interesting to me seeing once that had the way the last season ended, and then saying, we're gonna do a movie now. It's like, what? Why? Okay,
we spent all this time. Yeah, we were able to really take our time getting to know everyone and all this stuff. I kind of liked that rhythm and pattern. I mean, we got awesome characters, like Bill Burr's character from season 2. To show, you start to include all these other things. We're not going to get to take all that time in a movie. I assume it's going to be almost entirely people we know, maybe one or two new things. but
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. Obviously, we
I'm
can
gonna
just
see
easily
it,
bring all these
so.
other. Yes. Oh, of course. Yeah. Same here. But yeah, I've been digging the show pattern, but maybe it's a budget thing too. I could imagine
Yeah, why
you're
not,
only
I guess.
paying for 3 hours of potential material that's going on screen versus 8 or 10 hours worth of the stuff.
And I gotta have hope that Favreau knows what he's doing. I mean, he doesn't fuck around too much.
No, no. Let's get some Filoni action up in there too. Let's get.
I don't know, man. I feel like that guy's been letting me down. Everyone talks about how he's like this wonder chosen guy, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not digging him as much as people say.
It's for me. It's more. He's
Stuff.
very much like the Lucas, where you can't just let him go full tilt on his own. Someone else definitely needs to tighten this dialogue on his stuff, because his dialogue isn't always on point.
Because wasn't he the one that was fully pretty much in charge of Boba Fett?
No, that's
was that Favreau as well?
Nope, that's
oh no,
God,
that was Rodriguez.
That's right. Yeah, it's exactly. That's why that one felt extremely different. That's all Robert Rodriguez.
Wow,
that was his show. Filoni's, producer and all those things, but he wasn't guiding everyone.
Did he do did he do Obi-Wan? Who did Obi-Wan? No, that was that lady,
was
right?
What's her name?
What's her face?
Did
a great job. I like that show.
I did too. I was a fan of that. That was a good time. It's
I don't know what I'm talking out my ass apparently.
No, it's all good. All the animated stuff, like almost all the animated stuff is Filoni, but
fair enough.
And then I know it was a lot of him and Favreau in the first season of Mandalorian, but I think it's more that the broad picture. Let him like keep track of the universe as it's coming into focus, and then let your directors and your individual projects take the helm for those story points.
Smart way to do it.
Ideally, but if he did get to helm a show, I'm curious what that would look like though. He hasn't got to do that since Rebels, where it's like a really heavy hand, which people are we're not Ahsoka wouldn't be going back to it if there weren't things there that people want to see. So
yeah. Speaking of things people want to see, Dennis, I think people have come to our show maybe to see some reviews.
I think so. Let's get to it.
Lights, camera, action. It's review time. Dennis and Adam, we gon' blow your mind. We're stepping up to the plate, ready to swing. Analyzing movies like a scientist with bling.
All right, Dennis.
That scientist bling. I fucking love it.
Yeah, they love their bling, the scientists. Those fucks.
Rolling in the labs with their grills.
Oh, yeah. Have to. That's the gangsta way. Up first, you get a movie that has been around for some time, but it's getting a sequel. One of those rare things coming out next.
It's been around as long as us, actually.
Yeah.
This is the 1988 classic Beetlejuice. That's right. So we're getting that sequel right around the corner here, folks. But why not go for a little refresher? I know I wanted one. Directed by Tim Burton. This is starring Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin, oh my God, Michael Keaton, and Winona Ryder, as well as many other fantastic talents that lend their beautiful faces to this film. Very briefly, telling the story of a newlywed couple buying their dream project house, suffers a tragic accident, and then comes to find out they're dead, and they're navigating the afterlife as best they can with a few suggestions of those who've used to organizing the underworld and ghosts, specters, and whatnot. And when an obnoxious family moves into their house and starts undoing all of their hard work, they decide we need to scare the bejesus out of them. And they get an offer from this interesting character that we don't really get to see, but we get some little nudges his direction. And they're told by multiple people, don't talk to him, don't even say his name. This guy's a piece of shit. He used to be my assistant. He was a troublemaker. He's just pure chaos. Don't even don't involve yourself with him. Well, they do, and it isn't. Then we finally get to see Michael Keaton on screen, and we get Beetlejuice himself. Hilarity ensues. A little bit of horror. It's a little bit of action. It's an interesting Tim Burton film because I feel like the first 15-20 minutes or so kind of does a good job of really avoiding a lot of that feeling, almost like the beginning part of Edward Scissorhands, like without Edward around, when it's just the pastel houses and the white picket fences and all this stuff. It's very like almost clinically clean. I love the miniature model making in the basement. How he's matching the town and all that stuff. What shocked me though is going back to rewatch this. I forgot you don't see Beetlejuice until you're halfway through the movie. 45 minutes, and it was like
which is his stipulation for the next one. He's like, I only want the same amount of screen time. I don't think I should dominate. And I'm like, what a move.
Fair enough too, and it makes you value his presence on screen. He looks a little scarier. His jokes are funnier. Everything pops more because you're valuing all of those moments you get when you have Beetlejuice on camera, and it's no mark against anyone else, because Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin do a great job in this movie. Winona Ryder does an incredible job playing her character, so young too, and she's carrying a lot of weight of this movie on her back, even at such a young age. But then you have Jeffrey Jones and Catherine O'Hara. Like that pair is fantastic. I can't think of his character's name in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I just kept thinking of him. I just wanted him to have the mustache so bad. But just incredible talent in front of the camera, including, I mean, the art department on this thing is fucking killer. It still looks so good. Yes, the a lot of the in-camera effects and the way they go about shooting some of the miniature scale stuff when they're scaling them down for like the sandworms and things like that. I mean, yeah, it looks a little rough around the edges, but there's so many practical effects. The makeup is fantastic. The wardrobe is just as good as well. And all of those elements still look completely awesome. Getting oh my God, I can't think of his name. The composer, Jesus Christ, that he always works with. The score is fucking fantastic. Why do I feel this is good? It's only this Danny Elfman. Jesus Christ. Danny Elfman's music obviously does the job it needs to, and it's all of the tone I feel that belongs in a story like this, and it strikes an incredible balance of comedy, horror, and the sort of that sense of adventure of going between all these different worlds. That, I mean, how often do we ever truly get to see this type of story getting told in theaters anymore? Risks like this too, like with that, unless it's literally a sequel, you really don't get to enjoy a movie like this very often. And it still holds up. I still think it was a great time. Some of the jokes are a little rough around the edges given these days, and there's just that whole weird thing of Beetlejuice marrying like a 15-year-old girl, which,
I mean, little tidbits here, Dennis.
It's a little fucked, but which is funny. I rewatched a couple episodes of the cartoon the other day.
See, now that's what I'm talking about. The cartoon is my favorite, I think.
What's funny is like the dialogue is not far away from the movie either. I mean, he's still calling her babe and all this. Like it's the way it's so it's a little icky in some context, but the tone of it captured it perfectly. It's funny how you didn't have to change that much to make it like a kid's cartoon, and you're still right there in the Beetlejuice world. But yeah, I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I was able to catch this over on HBO Max. I'm going to give Beetlejuice 3.5 slices.
Nice. Up next, I have a movie that is a sequel-ish, but not fully a sequel. More of a spin-off of sorts.
Okay.
A movie called Alien Romulus. Now, this takes place between Alien and Aliens, and we're seeing something we haven't seen before. We're seeing normal people pulling a heist, essentially. So you have these 20-something-year-olds who grew up on a planet that's never seen the sun. Their parents have worked in the mines and have gotten, like, cancer from it and died, and everyone's just miserable on this planet.
Jesus,
and our main character, she had just hit the mark, enough time put into her work on this planet to get off planet to go to a better world. But right as she's doing that and requesting a passport, they're like, oh, actually, it just changed. Now you got to do double the amount of time you've already done. And then you can leave. And she's like, I'm just trying to make a better life for me and my brother. And I'm like, sorry. And then her friends are like, hey, we actually found an abandoned space station floating above our planet that has something that we don't have. We have a ship to get off planet, but we don't have enough material to stay in cryo sleep the whole trip.
Oh,
But the space
okay.
station has what we need. Let's go up there, steal it, and then get the fuck off this planet. And she's like, I don't know. Why do you need me and my brother? And they're like, well, your brother, he's a fucking synthetic, so he can kind of get us through situations we can't fully do. And it's like, okay. And we learn very early on his directive is essentially to protect her and do whatever makes her happy and safe. And he agrees to do this. And they go up there, and there's a reason the space station's abandoned, because it's riddled with aliens. And once they take the cryo freeze stuff, they awaken the aliens. And then it becomes a battle of, oh shit, we gotta escape these aliens, get to our ship, and survive. And of course, that's not so easy. And it's interesting. Now, the characters are rich, and Kaylee Spaney is the main character, Rain, and we know her from Civil War and Priscilla, and she's a fantastic actress. She's doing good. And the rest of the people I don't fully know, but the breakout in this movie to me is her brother Andy, played by David Johnson. This guy, he's just so fucking good. And his character's a little like worn out and kind of feels nervous and a little bit on the spectrum almost. And then he gets an upgrade in the middle of the movie, and he becomes more of a badass. And we get to see these duality, these two roles that he gets to vibe, and he's just killing it. And this movie is written and directed by Fede Alvarez, the guy that rebooted Evil Dead. He did the Don't Breathe movies, and you can tell that he's a fan of this franchise because he takes a lot of earnest respect and care for what they did. He kind of merges the first two Alien movies, and he built the world that we know and love, and like everything feels lived in. And it's not like movies where we're seeing, oh, this takes place between these movies, but somehow everything looks modern and shiny and beautiful,
sterile.
Like,
and I hate that. Yeah, I'm with you. No, that's
awesome. So down and dirty and gritty, and it looks almost like film. It sounds like film. It's not film. And the xenomorphs and aliens are practical, and the music is pretty great in this too. The score, and there's some stuff we've of course seen before in these movies, references that some people love, some don't, and then there's some original things that we've never seen done in this world before, and it's a fun spectacle and definitely worth a watch. Especially see it in IMAX or whatever your biggest screen is, maybe Adobe, because it's fun and it's interesting. And I just had a blast. Like, honestly, it clocks in just under 2 hours, and I could have watched more of it.
Oh, wow.
And the way it ends,
nice.
The way it ends is like, okay, I could see more possibly, or maybe they could go in a different direction. I don't know. But it's a great watch. I would definitely suggest seeing Alien Romulus if you're a fan of the franchise.
Fuck yeah, man.
I'm gonna give it 3 slices of the toast. I'm intrigued. I know off mic you said hopefully you'll check it out. Please review it on the next episode if you do.
Definitely,
because I know some people have had slightly different reactions than me, but for the most part, I feel like most people like it. I don't know.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to compare notes. It's one I do enjoy the series, and the sort of nostalgic feel they seem to be giving the look of this one to make it look like it belongs where it does in the timeline, which I love that they went the extra mile on that one. So yeah, I'm excited to chat with about this one again. And you only made me more excited to see the movie. So
yeah, yeah. And it's great. Like when I was buying the tickets opening weekend, like it was hard finding like seats. Like people are going to the theater for it, which is great.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. What we want to see.
People saying theater cinema's dead. Nah, maybe not. I mean, fucking a month ago on our last episode, we reviewed Deadpool and Wolverine. and it's still killing number one. It's returned
yeah.
to the throne of number one. So people want to see things. It's just they want to see the right thing, I guess.
Yep.
Speaking of the right thing, I was looking forward to my next movie, the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz, Blink Twice. All right, this movie I really enjoyed. The setup, the premise. It's about this tech billionaire who has gotten in some hot water, and he's kind of stepped down in his role in his company, and he's kind of retreated to a private island that he bought, and now he's coming back into the world. He's at a gala, and he takes a shining to one of the common folks at the gala. This waitress kind of cons her way in with her best friend and hits it off with them. And he invites her and her friend back to his private island, and things are going great. And they're just drinking, getting high, having great food, just having the time of their life. But things feel a little bit off, and things start looking and appearing odd and differently. And it's like, what's really going on here? And we're learning things a little bit here and there throughout the film. And it becomes this survival film, this revenge film. And it's just, it's pretty brutal. I enjoyed it.
Dang, okay. All right, Zoe.
Channing Tatum is the main tech billionaire, but by God, this cast is great. The main character is Naomi Ackel. She's a great actress. You have Aliyah Shawkat from Arrested Development, Haley Joel Osment, Kristen Slater, Gina Davis, Kyle MacLachlan, and just Simon Rex. So many familiar faces.
Nice.
And the characters are kind of interesting. Everyone serves their purpose. Some people are underutilized, I feel like, but the tension and just the creepy vibe is really fun. And the cinematography is good, and the setting is kind of nice. For a directorial debut, this is a solid movie. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a really fun movie that will keep you on the edge of your seat and keep you intrigued, I think. So I'm going to give Blink Twice. I'm going to give it 3 slices of toast as well. I really had a good time.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this one I was intrigued by the way like the advertising was kind of pitching it, because I'm like, at first I thought I was getting sort of Knives Out kind of vibes, but then I was like, no, I think they kind of want me to think that, because clearly something else, it's clearly leaning towards like, we are obviously not showing you the true hook, which, that would suck if they did. But I liked that this sort of aura. It seems like it's trying to lead you onto something, but it's like, oh, but don't buy into it though. Even the title itself even kind of makes me feel.
Well,
like
I mean, it's interesting. The original title was Pussy Island. I'm like, all right, that's an intriguing title.
I can see Channing Tatum also starring in that. That's
right. And the interesting thing here is it's a fun movie. Like, you don't get to the airiness until a little bit into the second act, but you're waiting for it. So you're like, when's shit gonna hit the fan?
Okay. Oh,
like,
nice.
You're seeing a little bit happening, but you're just like, I wanna, and like they even call it out in the movie. They're like, oh yeah, we just randomly got on a plane and went to an island with these strangers. What could go wrong? And it's like, all right, you know it. Everyone knows it. You're tipping your hat, but the way things unfold are interesting. And I really had a blast. And
nice.
I hope more movies like these get made. And I'm intrigued to see what Zoe Kravitz does next. I don't know why I keep saying Zoe Kravitz in a weird way. Zoe, I don't know. But fantastic for a first-time film, I think.
So the French director way of saying,
Zoe
Kravitz.
But we got a little bit of a tag team for this next one.
Yeah. The whole funky bunch is here. All right, folks. We got a Netflix original cracking off at the #1 spot when it debuted, and it lingered around in the top 10 for a little while. It might actually, as of recording right now, I think it still is in the top 10. The Union, starring Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry. So this is the obvious story of just, a steel worker working in Jersey that's with the bros, and we get brews, and we talk about chicks, and we're fucking our teachers from middle school, and he's like, you're smashed in the face with the everyman stick so fucking hard, like your teeth are missing by the time we get to the point where we're like, yes, this is the movie we were checking in for. Halle Berry is working for this agency called the Union, and when a mission goes wrong and they realize, oh shit, we're all in danger, no agent is safe, we need some outside help. She's like, I know exactly what guy to trust, this untrained crane operator from Jersey I went to middle school with. So she goes back to their hometown under the guise of, oh, I just want to catch up on old times, drugs him, kidnaps him, takes him to Paris, and
as one does.
Yeah, of course, right? You just casually throw Mark Wahlberg into a box or something. And she breaks down this whole thing. J.K. Simmons comes out of nowhere, and you get an interesting cast. Jackie Earl Haley, Mike Coulter. There's a few other faces
familiar,
you're very likely to recognize. Yeah. It's like, it's got a decent lineup. I remember seeing the trailer and being like, okay, I think I know what this is going to be like, but why not? Let's just check this thing out. Boy, that setup though, we never really break away from that. It's kind of it. The formula that is set in the first act doesn't change. There is no twist. There is no, like, the thing that
there's twist, but minor, boring, lame, pointless. You can see coming a mile away.
Right.
When it happened, I'm like, oh yeah,
yes,
I saw that.
Right. It follows the classic. If you don't see the body, I refuse to believe they're dead. And boy, does this movie stick to that rule in multiple instances. Even like Val and I were even trying to talk like, okay, I hope the twist I just thought of is actually in the movie, because that's going to be better than the direction I think it's going. And we were, of course, let down. I was hoping it was J.K. Simmons.
I was hoping the whole time, which it could be. Maybe we're throwing you off the scent.
Right.
Don't spoil anything.
Oh, you're right. Let's take it easy.
Yeah. But it's like, Mark Wahlberg is like this dumbfounded guy who's like, what? They drive on the wrong side of the road in Europe? Oh, wow. Didn't know that. Oh, I've never even left New Jersey before. Oh, man. Oh, well, I had a week of training.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I don't know what's going on with Mark Wahlberg. He's making these movies lately that are like, you can tell are just paying the bills. Like,
yeah,
these choices seem so weird. The Family Plan was another letdown. And it's like, I know he's a good actor. I know Halle Berry is a good actor. Yes. I know fucking J. Jonah Jameson's a good actor. I know fucking Luke Cage is a great actor. Yep. And they're all just phoning it in. And it's an international movie. This is the issue going on here. I feel like Netflix is throwing money at these big stars to be in these globetrotting movies that have no plot,
horrible story,
interesting,
the dialogue is garbage. And then I feel like
terrible.
The locations where I do try to appreciate some of them, and then there's times where we're clearly on a stage, or it's like volume or something. It's like, okay, obviously now you've made all of the CG. You had all this great footage of downtown. Why not just like take a couple actors there, shoot this scene out? It's not even a chase. It's not even a fight. You can't have them walk down a fucking sidewalk then. Oh my God. All right, fine. Even like the comedy itself, I wanted to like it more, but because of, I'm pretty sure, it's a PG-13 rating, right? It feels like they softened the blow so much. There's so many jokes where I feel like you pulled the punch just so you could keep your rating. The one fuck we did get was so like unsatisfying, in my opinion. The action I think was toned down. The double O, go fuck yourself. I'm James Bond from New Jersey. Oh, you mean double O, go fuck yourself?
And I love the cheesiness of like seeing like workers on the street doing construction. They're like, they're members of the union too. It's like, cool, man. That's so original and interesting and witty and charming.
For
don't give a fuck.
organization that's supposed to be even more secret than the secret organizations that even like world spies say like, oh, things are going to be tough if the union's involved. They're so out in the open. They're so everywhere, running around with fucking rifles and shit, just hosing down bullets on the sidewalk and down the streets. And I like, you just break all of your in movie lore by just showing all of this shit and then saying something else entirely. So I like,
and the MacGuffin and the thing that is on the black market that they're trying to get back. Oh man, if fucking bad guys get their hands on this, all the agents and all the agencies, everyone will be called out and no one's safe. How many fucking times have we seen this trope? And how many times has it been interesting or intriguing? Not very many. Let's do it again.
I think the only time I like going back and hearing like revisiting this story is the first Tom Cruise Mission Impossible. That's
probably
great. Like,
one of the first times we've seen it in a while.
Right? Oh yeah. Then like getting the knock list back. That's great because you still have physical data. It's all of that like that sort of thing. Here in this context, it doesn't fucking matter. Even when you get to the list, like when we build up to that moment, even that was stupid, and that was just everything when every time you think you're finally building up to something really cool, it gets undercut by something really dumb. I'll admit there was a couple times I chuckled. They had there was one car chase scene where they had a couple of cool maneuvers, but even then a lot of the car chase was chopped up into bits where like, yes, okay, you did do this one part, but then you showed me a whole bunch of CG crap, and then you showed me one more cool section of the car chase or one cool car stunt, and then you ruined it by some other crappy dialogue. Watching him get thrown in the trunk was kind of funny. Like, I was like, yeah, you stay in there, Mike. And I love they didn't even like his name even sounds too much like his real name. Yeah. Mike, Mark, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, he was a producer on it. I mean,
but Val said if we made a drinking game out of every time they said rocks, that we would have been shit-faced halfway through the movie. And I would have to probably hey, rocks. Hey, rocks. Every time we talk to Roxanne or Halle Berry's character, they have to say her name at least twice. And I'm like, I think she knows A, who you're talking to, and B, what her own fucking name is. But it's not. I get it. They were doing that classic. I wonder if they didn't know like what fucking part of the movie they were filming that day. So we got to say the character's name so the audience can keep up. I'm pretty sure we remember who the fuck Halle Berry is by this point, but whatever. Yeah. No, this was a pile. Netflix doing the, like you said, the globetrotting big stars working for some agency that does badass stuff and then needs to disappear into the night. They've done this 3 times in the last 3 years. Fucking stop it. Just stop it with this shit.
And of course, these movies are coming in number 1 or top of the viewing list because they have big stars and everyone's intrigued. And it's like, well, I guess I started it. I got to finish it. But then that sends the wrong thoughts to the studios. Yep. They say, let's make more of these because people are loving them. Let's do sequels. Set up a sequel in this. I'm not going to fucking watch it when it comes out if they do it.
Oh, but no. This has become a... I burned myself too many times watching fucking that other one, shitty Warhammer.
Red Notice? Oh
God, I forgot about that piece. Holy crap. I always think, and then there was that other one Gal Gadot did where they were all the playing cards or whatever the fuck. Same thing. I'm tired of these like, we're the organization beneath the organization. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
it's not,
you're not a million times
making it intriguing anymore. You're ruining the concept. I usually like that kind of shit. You've killed it for me, Netflix. Whatever. It's not a fan.
It doesn't.
It just it didn't like it. There's a few the few redeeming qualities it had was just not enough to carry it. That other Rebel Moon. That's what I was thinking of. I got burned Rebel Moon. I'm not if they do a sequel, which they very clearly set it up for a shitty sequel at the end of the Union. I'm not going to give them the views. I'm not giving the downloads. Sorry, Toasties. It's just this is like Adam said. This is what you got to do when they start making bad stuff. Is you got to stop watching it. So that'll be the sequel will be a no.
I mean, something did keep me watching this. Yeah, but I don't know what it was. It wasn't very charmed. I didn't even feel a connection amongst the two actors. I'm like, you guys don't have chemistry.
Mike Coulter was surprisingly inept for being a guy who's been in the union and who's trained along with like finding out who he's married to, all this stuff. It's like, oh my God, you're so woven into this group. Why do you seem so widely inept? Same with several of them. Like you're trying to get me to care about like the tech girl in the van. You're trying to get me to care about all these other characters. And then, oh no, this, oh no, that happens. I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Let's just keep going. Plow ahead. Charge ahead.
I don't know. What are you giving? How many slices?
1.5 slices, and I still think that's being generous. I liked that at least you got. I'm tired of everything fully being on stage and fully being like CG stages and things like that. It was nice to see them in actual physical places doing stuff out on open streets. Like I said, there was a couple of action elements I thought were kind of cool, but and then there was a couple jokes I laughed at, but not most of them. No. And like I said, I think I'm just being super kind.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 1 slice.
Yeah,
and that still feels slightly kind in my opinion. But
fair enough. Yeah, it's
if you happen to like this movie, please hit us up on our socials and let us know what we got wrong, why you liked it so much, and why we should give it another shot.
It's a big, fat, greasy Wahlburger. That's all we got.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Up next, I have another movie that just came out called Strange Darling. I didn't know too much about this movie, but I loved every second of it. So this movie is a cat and mouse game about a serial killer and its prey. It's about a one-night stand that's gone terribly wrong. And this is a movie that is broken up into chapters, and normally I fucking hate that. But in this, I really enjoyed it. It set you up for the craziness that you were about to watch in each kind of chapter. And it was all told out of chronological order. And it stars Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner. And these two are fucking powerhouse performers in this movie. Like, their characters, you'll be rooting for them, you'll be rooting against them. They kept me on the edge of my seat. They kept my eyes glued to the screen. I can't really say too much about it because the whole movie is so elaborately told. There's twists and turns that are clever throughout the entirety of the movie. The movie flies by. It's action-packed. It's gory. It kind of feels like a 70s style thriller horror movie. It looks like one. It's shot on 35 millimeter.
Oh, badass.
It was shot in your old stomping grounds in Oregon. And
shit.
If there wasn't like modern day vehicles in it and like vape pens and stuff, I'd say this movie could have easily been taking place back in the day.
Nice.
Like, and the crazy thing to me, like, the cinematography of this movie was stunning, and like the shots were composed so beautifully. And I was shocked to find out the cinematographer was Giovanni Ribisi, and that blew my mind right there.
That's fantastic. Badass. Nice.
He needs to do more of this. And the director of this, oh my God, he wrote it. It's so thrilling and intriguing. And you have other kind of supporting cast members. Ed Begley Jr. is great. Him and Barbara Hershey play these two old hippies, and they have a great couple of scenes in it. And some other kind of familiar faces. And there's a kind of narration in the beginning by Jason Patrick that's kind of chilling and sets you up for everything. And it's weird because the first chapter is just these two characters. Well, the first chapter is kind of action-packed and heart-racing. And then it cuts to this like really chill scene where these actors are just in a car outside of a motel talking. And it's just intimate. And then there's just this crazy like turn that happens. And oh, man, I'm trying really hard. Like, I want to dig so deep into this movie is one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. And it took me by surprise, man. I think everyone should see this. Like, I really dug Blink Twice, but this movie I really, really enjoyed. It was kind of what I was expecting out of one of my favorite movies of, I want to say, like 2021, Promising Young Woman. This is kind of what I thought that movie was going to be, but even crazier. And like, oh man, it's fantastic. It's so fucking good. Strange Darling in theaters now. It's hard not to want to spoil things. I'm giving it 4 slices of toast. I might even see it again on the big screen because it's that good. I might even buy it when it comes out. Like, this movie feels akin to a Tarantino style movie. And there's a lot of like details, and everything is so intricate and surprising. I will say the one thing that was kind of a little hard for me to swallow, the final act of the movie, the final chapter, kind of dragged on a little bit longer than it need to, but
okay.
This movie was just so fucking good. I could forgive it. And this movie is not even an hour and 40 minutes. I think it's like an hour and 36. But it just flies by, and it's fantastic.
Badass, dude. Oh man, I am fucking all right. I'm checking this fucking thing out.
I'm sorry. I know I didn't say much about it, but I'm trying to say what I can.
I'm here for all of that too, though. That's exactly the type of shit. You know, I was thinking over this last week, I was trying to think of, like, in the past, there have been years as we've been doing Movie Toast. At any given time, I get random people, you know, when it comes up, we do the show. Oh, so all right, what's your favorite movie so far this year? I struggle to think of like what that answer would be for this year. Last year it was definitely They Clone Tyrone. That was easily. Or no, that was the year before, wasn't it?
No, that was last year.
It was last year? Okay.
It just was a long year.
Yeah, it was. I have yet to have something I feel so strongly about like I did with that movie last year. This sounds like that feeling. The way you're describing
I honestly
it
think
that's awesome.
You would dig it. Honestly, I know it's gonna sound crazy, and I'm not gonna persuade you, but if I know you're talking about maybe seeing Romulus or in Beetlejuice, but I would highly suggest before seeing Romulus, I would see this movie. I think Val might enjoy it too, because the writing
sounds like it.
Yeah, it's the type of movie that is really surprising, and
that's
like,
awesome, man.
The audience actually respected it again. Like, there wasn't a lot of talking in my theater. Everyone was just focused on what was going on, and there's some genuinely like gory shit happening. And
I guess
even watching the trailer. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sure. No, I was just gonna say the artwork that you've chosen for the poster art. I love this like kind of style, that sort of like watercolor behind the lettering for Strange Darling, and the very clear, the girl on the run, the man with the gun, that like the blood red hair dripping off her head, and that like I love what you're showing me here, and I love how little you're trying to tell me, but it still says so fucking much.
Oh yeah,
and
that's how the movie starts.
Movies that that's fucking awesome.
After the Jason Patrick monologue of like serial killer spree, blah blah blah, you get this woman running for her life out of the woods, and it's slow motion. It's on 35 millimeter, and then you get this guy coming with the shotgun coming for her, and it's like, holy fuck, man!
It's I'm just
set up
feeling like it's the Fry meme. Here, take my money. It's just
pretty much. Like I saw this movie about 3 weeks ago. I saw it before it came out. It just came out in theaters this previous weekend. And I was like, holy fuck, man. I've been wanting to talk about it so much. It's
dude,
and I put out a movie crumb on our YouTube page, and I'm like, in it, I say it's hard not to really give a review of this without spoiling. And someone was like, I bet this is the easiest movie to review without spoiling. I'm like, please, dude, you see the movie, you let me know. Give me your review, and I would love to hear you not spoil it and tell me what's going on.
Nice.
And no response, of course.
There you go.
Yeah. But,
nice, dude. Oh no, you got me really excited for this thing, dude.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And watch, you're gonna see him be like, that was the dumbest, shittiest movie
I've ever seen. One slice.
Yeah. Now, speaking of shittiest movies seen this weekend, for me, I got a new movie that's not really new because it's a reboot and an adaptation of a graphic novel. I'm talking about the 2024 rendition of The Crow. All right, Dennis. Now I'm going to go in here, being honest with you. Never seen the Brandon Lee movie, and I wanted to see it, but I said I'm going to hold off going in judgment free into this movie.
Okay, fair
so
enough.
I didn't have anything but this.
That's
now,
solid.
When I saw the trailer and the stills, I said this movie looks fucking silly and dumb. It kind of looks like the Crow is like the Joker from fucking David Ayer's Suicide Squad film. I love Bill Skarsgård; he's great, but and then it also stars FKA Twigs. I don't really know her very much. I think she's like a pop star. Danny Houston's in it. And those are the only kind of big names that I know out of this. And the premise is essentially, I think, the same as the previous movie. You have these two kind of lost souls that come together. They fall in love. Of course, one of them is kind of trying to run away from some shady past. And the past comes to catch up to him. And the two of them get murdered. And the young man is kind of in purgatory and told, since he has genuine love for this girl, he can go seek revenge. And at the end of it, he can bring her back to life. And that's kind of our premise. But that doesn't happen until about the middle of the movie.
Oh, fuck.
And this movie is an hour and 51 minutes, but it just dragged on. I got so drowsy watching it. Now, it looks kind of sleek and sexy because it's like dark and gritty. But it's very CG heavy. It's more of a love story most of the movie, and I guess they have some chemistry. It just kind of feels mystery. The acting's all right. Now there's some action once the revenge portion of the movie kicks in. It still takes time to get to the fun action packed, but once that happens, when he's getting full revenge, it's fucking intense and brutal. But is it justifiable to sitting and watching the kind of slockiness of the other shit? Not in my opinion. But I don't know. I mean, I have mixed feelings. Like, it wasn't the worst movie, but it definitely wasn't great. I was not a giant fan of this. And
all right.
Even know if I'd be a fan of the original, but I'm going to go back and watch that and kind of compare the two.
I'd be curious to, because like I was surprised when they said they were remaking this one, because there's something about the time when the original one came out. I mean, like the goth phase was huge. Heavy metal was way bigger. This culture was a lot bigger to do, like there's the dark gritty. That was so much more a thing back then than I feel like it is right now. That, not to say it doesn't exist, of course it still does, but it then, like, early mid 90s was a very different time, and it spoke to that time. The first one, I remember, it feels much more like a comic book movie. It is a very much larger than life. Although how you described it, I feel like the inciting incident happens a lot faster in the first one.
I would hope so, man.
We get this other strange cast of like supporting characters that surround Brandon Lee's version of it. Is he a rock star in this one too?
No, he is essentially a burnout. The two of them meet in a rehab facility. He is kind of He is trying to escape some people and goes on the run, gets caught by cops. Her purse spills open and some drugs come out, and she gets sent to rehab apparently. And he's kind of an outcast even in the rehab, but the two of them hit it off and they escape the rehab together and they go on the run and start this life together. And it's interesting. Just awkward. And it's weird because for years there's been talk about rebooting this movie. So many different people. The last iteration was going to be Jason Momoa, and that would have been a completely different movie, I think, than what we got here.
Yeah, I think that's what's scary. Like one of the kind of scary things about having this character is that he isn't supposed to be this big, intimidating guy. It's the powers that are given to him that make him terrifying. I like the scary feeling of the bad guys thinking they're shooting. They think they're shooting, killing him, or there's no way he could have survived that. And just to see him just come back is like a freight train.
That is one of the cool aspects of this movie. When he realizes he has that power, like we're seeing like his entrails coming out, and like then we're seeing his bullet wounds kind of like the regeneration process is really
Mhm.
like gnarly and fun to watch. And like, it's like,
Cool.
oh, fuck, that's cool.
Cool.
I want more of that. I
Yeah.
would have liked to see more action and brutality. And I guess I'm not totally surprised. This is the director that did the Snow White and the Huntsman, which I kind of liked, but he did
Okay.
the live action remake of Ghost in the Shell, which was abysmal in my opinion. I didn't even finish it. I walked out of the theater and never looked back. And he's doing this. I mean, I don't know. I felt like there was some weird missteps in this. Like
Okay.
you were
fair enough.
saying, like, even I hear Tony Todd was more of the villain and more menacing and had more going on than Danny Houston, who's a fantastic actor. But even his character is just like he walks up and just mumbles in people's ears and convinces them to kill themselves. And it's like, okay, that's kind of
Oh,
lame.
Yeah. All right.
And
The more
even
like
the crows in this movie, a movie called The Crow, all these CG crows everywhere. It's like,
Oh,
why
that's-
can't you just get regular crows?
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh man, like especially when it's like, wait a minute, you couldn't get a real bird? Can we get one real bird,
Yeah.
please?
At least one. And I was
One
listening to an interview with the director today, and he's like, yeah, we really had to pinch pennies. Like, we were in post and questioning whether we needed a crow in a scene because that was too much money. And I'm like, why make this movie if you can't even
Oh, my
afford
God.
to put fake crows in your movie about crows? God.
Right? Jesus. Ugh.
But it does start off with this cool montage of like oil and like I think Bill Skarsgård's in the oil, and it's like, oh, this is crazy. And then it just goes to a slow paced nothingness of the story.
That's too bad. That's too
Yeah.
bad. I was curious about this one, but again, as we were joking about earlier, where's the originality at anymore? Clearly not
Mhm.
let's remake The Crow. Oh, that seems like a good idea on paper until it was executed like this, apparently. But
There's a reason why all of those previous iterations with big name celebrities never got made, I would assume.
right,
But something got through.
because there was one or two sequels to the
I think
original one. I want to
yeah.
say, yeah, because that was the whole damn it, because the second one came out right before Spider-Man, so it was weird to see Mary Jane, why can't I think of her fucking name? Civil War.
Kristen Dunst.
Yes, Kristen Dunst went from The Crow 2 or 3, I forget which one it was, and like the next movie she was in was Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure. So that was kind of a shock. But
and the way they end this movie, they totally are like, we're getting a sequel, man, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. It's like,
don't hold your breath.
And maybe I've been wrong about this in the past. Like we said, movies we don't like tend to get sequels, and it's like, all right, cool.
That's true. It could be one of those, like, and then it goes to Netflix and they get the sequel instead, or something.
And
like
that's the type of thing. It could get the Morbius treatment, man. It's like, people, it's so bad, people end up watching it and loving it, apparently, because it's fun to laugh at. But I'm gonna give The Crow 1.5 slices of toast.
1.5. Okay.
Because the action was fun. There were some cool things.
Sorry, Bill.
Execution, story, not so much.
Dang. Yeah. And again, who asked for this? Like, it doesn't seem fitting for the time, but all right.
And I'm seeing it, so you don't have to see it.
There
Like,
you go.
when I put a poll out of what movies out of like the 12 movies I've watched, the Toasties want to hear, this movie skyrocketed to the top. And I'm like,
all right.
I could have talked about a lot of better movies, but all right. Sometimes it's intriguing to talk about the not so great.
I'm glad you got Strange Darling in there though, because that sounds fantastic.
I had it,
and that's the type of cinema we got to be supporting. So,
and I will say, there's another. I don't have a review of this, but there will be a movie coming. A movie that kind of took me by surprise, an indie darling that I wanted to talk about. No stars in it at all. A coming of age story taking place in 2008. A movie called Dee about a young boy right before he's going into high school. Fantastic film. Really wish I could have reviewed it here, but it's in theaters. Check that out as well, people. Dee, very good film.
Nice.
But nobody wanted to hear that review, so it will live on in our YouTube area and other films. Yeah. I have a little bit I want to talk to you later on, possibly post. Oh no, I can get it out here. You got an extra second.
Yeah.
So the other day, I don't have, sorry, I don't have anything to accompany the video of this besides just talking. We were looking for something to watch. I'm like, I got a perfect movie. You want to watch a horror movie? You say, Sarah. I put on a little movie called Speak No Evil. The
Oh,
OG Danish film.
oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's over
Yes.
at AMC Plus and Shudder.
Oh, badass.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say right off the top, the American version, I justifiably say it's a better film. Now, I will say the movie is very similar. First
Mhm.
act of the movie, almost beat by beat. Second act, pretty damn similar. Third act, completely different movie. Like
Interesting.
we speculated leaving the screening what we thought, because I'm saying this because we reviewed the movie Speak No Evil coming out September 5th. We reviewed on episode 195 the American remake. And we were speculating, oh wow, we probably know what the third act's going to be. Not what I was imagining, completely different. And it's funny, Sarah kind of called, oh, what is that like? It called out what the movie was going to be like and was just getting frustrated by it. She's like, this reminds me of that Jennifer Lawrence movie Mother, which we both fucking hated.
Oh,
And I'm like,
God, yeah.
I promise the American version is really good.
Yeah.
McAvoy sells it.
Oh, fuck
Mackenzie
yes.
Davis sells it. Fucking
Scoot.
Scoot McNairy. And I'm like, she hated the husband in this because he was a bit like Scoot's character, but he had a little more balls. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, you like him in here. I mean, you don't like him here. If you saw the original movie, our guy's even more of a beta character than this guy.
Oh.
And the wife kind of similar, but not as badass. Like a lot of people online have been like, what's the point? Why do it? It's like they took a pretty decent movie. I liked this original one. There was definitely some questionable things, and they tweaked and they added extra elements that made sense that we didn't get with the original film. And yeah, I mean, it's fine, but definitely do yourself a favor and check out Speak No Evil, the American version. Even if you've seen the original, you're in for a big treat at the end of by the third act of the movie, I think.
It is, yeah. And still, like Adam was mentioning, I haven't seen the Danish film that Adam just was talking about, but it was a good time. The American remake of Speak No Evil was that was a lot of fun, and especially going in cold. I'm not like with really nothing. I think I vaguely remember seeing a trailer a while back, but it didn't click until the movie like really got going. I'm like, oh, that's right, yeah. The two families at the farmhouse. Got it.
And that's the thing. This movie, not at a farmhouse, takes place in a rural town. There's neighbors all around.
What?
Not in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Okay. That's
yep.
All right. Wow. I like the isolated feeling of oh, interesting. That's so different. That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the third act of this movie, they end up at a farmhouse very similar. But the event's not so similar.
All right. Nice.
And I will say, before the movie, I'm like, well, I don't want to make you just go in blind. You should check out the trailer. The trailer for this cut so much better than the American trailer. The American trailer, I feel like, gives a lot of the movie away. This keeps the mystery, the intrigue. It doesn't give anything away in this trailer.
Nice. Okay.
So I will say there are pros and cons, but if you're on the fence and you're anti-remakes, especially something so recent, give it a chance, folks. That's all I'm saying.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, man. That's glad you got a chance to check that one out, though. You could really get to compare them side by side that way.
And this, like the inverse of what I imagine the Crow would have been like. Like I probably will dig the OG Crow opposed to the remake, and just goes to show it's not always a one-way street with these things.
Oh yeah, no, it wouldn't shock me if you actually dug into the 90s Crow, because there's just something it's campy in the right way. It's the presentation is very like it's just of the time it was made in, you know. It's a little bit of a time capsule as you're watching it. So, but I'm curious to hear what you'd have to say. In fact, now you kind of make me want to see if I can track down and rewatch that guy. But
yeah.
But I guess that'll be on the next one, folks. Don't worry, well, as you can see,
we're wrapping things up here.
And then you actually reminded me we're going to a screening of Transformers 1 here with the Producers Guild at some.
Oh,
That's coming up.
nice.
It might have already be wide release by the time we see it, but it'll be
Still.
it'll the nice thing is it's one of those screening rooms. There's no food. There's probably going to be very few
Mhm.
children, so we're all just there to watch the movie. So I'm
And
very
they screened this
excited
for the
that.
press before Comic-Con, and it's getting rave reviews. So I know you mentioned you're excited for it, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It looks original and unique. I can't wait to hear your take on it. I'll see it when it comes out, but if you see it
Mhm.
before and we record before, I'd love to hear your take on it.
Oh, for
man.
sure. Oh, absolutely. You'll be the first to know, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Nice.
Just for fun,
That's-
like it's not like I'm not super into the Transformers lore, but I love this idea of getting to see well before everything that we've come to know on the big screen. up until
All-star
now.
cast, interesting
Yeah.
movies and animation. Well, why
Yeah.
not?
Oh, absolutely. For sure. Well,
Nice.
folks, I think that'll do it for our reviews of this episode.
Yes.
But if you feel like we missed anything, was there? Do you have conflicting ideas on some of these reviews? Do you disagree with the poll percentage? Well, you probably should have checked in at our socials, all at movie_toast. You can catch us over at Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, some YouTube action, which you may be watching right now, right here. All again at movie_toast. If you're feeling spicy, like you got to leave us some reviews, do all that over at Apple Podcast. We always take a close look at those, and we try to do our best to mold the show to be here, entertaining for you fans. It should be a fun time, not just fun for us to be able to chat about movies like we normally love to do, but to give you some sort of insight or something else you may not have heard or considered before. And it's always what's supposed to be, like just friends having conversation, and like to do that as best we possibly can, folks.
Hey, you know what else? We don't only love to watch big Hollywood blockbusters and foreign films and indie films and older films. We like to watch films made by you, the audience. That's right.
Yeah.
This December, we're coming back at you this holiday season with the 4th annual Movie Toast, the festival. If you got a short 15 minutes or less, please head over to filmfreeway.com/Movie Toast the Festival, or search for Movie Toast the Festival over there and enter your film. It's a small fee. It's all digital. You can watch from your home. It's going to be premiering on YouTube. It's a free event to watch. The reason we charge for it, of course, is because we have an editor put together everything. We make a fun spectacle of it. Dennis makes an amazing Golden Toaster Award. So there is money that goes into this festival, and it's just the festival paying for itself. But we want to check out your stuff. So please, if you got stuff, we want to check it out.
Yeah, we've been exposed to some really awesome projects in the past, seen some really cool, unique ideas and concepts. So take the risk, submit. Do it sooner rather than later, though. You don't want to cut it too close to the line.
The deadline
There will
is
be a
coming.
cutoff. Yes, it'll be here before you know it, too. So if you got to get those last finishing touches, get them on there and get it over to us. But like Adam said, please keep it below 15 minutes. There's a lot of things people try submitting. We've had people try to submit full feature films, and it's like we can't offer a fair comparison against all of the other shorts, because this is the world we're trying to keep it and live in. But there's some incredible storytelling. Maybe you don't want to submit a film, but please at least come check out the show. We have a lot of fun. We do a little live chat with you guys during and after the show. It's a good time. It's a good
all
little
genres
toasty party.
welcomed. We've shown fucking music videos. We've shown experimental things. If it's cool, that's all we care. We don't care what it's about, who stars in it, whatnot. It's just fun content that we want to share with our audience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you don't want to do any of that stuff.
No.
There's only one thing we ask that you do, and that is
please stay toasty.
I'm the Dennis, they're the kings of the real. Reviewing new movies, they keep it real. Coast to coast, from LA to the east. On the podcast show, they feast on the beast. Adam's bringing knowledge like he's Professor X. Dennis with cuts deeper than Wolverine's claws. I guess Marvel, DC, they know them all by heart. Breaking down the plot, tearing every scene apart. They got the juice like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Breaking down movies with a sharp precision. Adam coming in hot like a John Wick hit. Dennis bringing the heat like the climax of a Tarzan flick.
I love you controlling the kids and zooming. It's like
I just feel like
I don't need to dance.
why not?
I just need to do this. Boom, boom. It
I
was
don't
so
know how bad
dramatic.
it looked.
It's awesome. I fucking loved it.
I was
was
just like, fuck it,
absolutely
let's
awesome.
do it. Oh man.
Oh, damn. Nice, man.
But whew, fun times. Oh man. Speaking of watching Netflix movies, if you're looking for a decent comedy, there's another fun coming of age movie that just came out called Incoming, written by some of the people from maybe It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but definitely the Mick, Caitlin Olsen's in it. It's about these kids starting high school. Really good. Just watched it last night.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's fun. Oh shit.
Definitely better than The Union.
Yeah.
And I was excited, dude, when I watched that movie Didi I was talking about. There's this weird fight. There's this like fight scene with these two kids, and I was just like I almost started singing. John LaJoie's Sunday Afternoon started playing. I'm like, I don't understand this, but I love this. We need
That's
more
awesome.
John LaJoie movies.
Someone's like, I've got the song. I bet no one's heard it before. No.
I almost
Very
was
much
singing. I'm
heard.
like, but there's other people in the. I'm like they got to cut out because the end of this is just essentially about masturbating. But okay, I'm down for it.
That's awesome. Oh shit.
But yeah, I don't know. Anything else before we actually wrap this up?
No. It's pretty light on the extracurricular movie viewing.
Yeah.
When I was benched on this last job out of town, I watched a lot of like AMC ran through a bunch of their 80s classics. Revenge of the Nerds, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink. We're all just
Yeah,
back
you didn't
to
want
back.
to review any of these movies?
I've reviewed. In fact, I've reviewed all of. I think I've reviewed all of them already on the show. Maybe not Pretty in Pink, but that was the only one. That's the one I probably watched the least of because I was trying to figure out.
I guess that's an upside of being
dinner,
sick.
But right, like yeah, I was
Movies
just
and
like, you know,
films.
I was just drinking fucking gallons of water, rehydrating, and intermittently peeing a horrific amount. And it was just, I was so over that.
Yikes.
So it's like, at least the comfort movies helped. So that was
There you go.
not having to think and just letting these classics roll out in front of me. But
Hell yeah.
yeah. Sometimes you need
Well,
that warm fuzzy blanket of a familiar film.
Speaking of that, man, we're this upcoming Friday, we're getting that 20th anniversary of Shaun of the Dead in
Yes.
theaters.
Oh,
Forward
God.
to that.
That'd be fun, man. Now that's funny. It went from like there's so few movies I want to see to now there's like 5 or 6 in theaters I want to check out right now.
Well,
Well, I mean, try to
it's
hit
a
as
good
many as
time.
we can. Yeah, exactly. Finally,
I'm telling you,
Finally.
man, just sign up for like a month of AMC Stubs
I've been-
A-list. $20. I think right now there's a sale, like $3 the first
Oh,
month. or
fucking A.
so.
Oh, that would be yeah.
It might be running out, but
I think it's the way to go. So Val, if you're watching, see,
but I don't know financials. I don't want to tell you what to do. Waste money.
it's a
Not
good
trying to enter that
idea, though.
fight.
It's a good idea though.
Just saying, it's worth it.
I'm with you.
Thanks
yeah.
for watching.
Thanks for joining us. Stay toasty.
Oh.